When things fall apart, Chinua Achebe composes a cautionary tale of the innumerable ways patriarchy fails us all. The story centers Igbo people living in the fictional village of Umuofia, a society with values not too different from our own. Men occupy most, if not all, positions of power. The most important identities imposed upon women are as mothers or homemakers, and one of the worst things you can call a man is a woman. Inequality breeds resentment, and it doesn't take long before someone swoops in to take advantage of the situation. Cue the missionaries. When the missionaries arrive, they're given no more respect than a pack of rodents. Their philosophies and practices are deemed more foolish than harmful. They talk about a God no one can see and speak of a land no one can visit. But this underestimated ragtag band of Christians are able to grow their ranks by exploiting the suffering in the village. And no man is perhaps more responsible for their success than the protagonist himself, Okwonko. Born to Unoka, a man gentle in nature but burdened with terrible debts, Okwonko grows up in the shadow of his father's failings. Unoka's financial mismanagement and carefree nature bring tremendous shame to both himself and his family, as his reputation is tarnished in both life and death. Okwonko is tired of living in shame and poverty, and after his father dies, vows to become a real man, a propertied man, a reliable man. He vows to become everything his father was not. As he gets older, Okwonko manages to do well for himself and avoid the destitution his father faced, but his ambition still blinds him. In Umuofia, violence is one of the many rungs you may climb to advance in society. If you are not imbued with special abilities at birth, then one of the main means in which you impress the elders and gain rank is through your strength in the ring or in war. Given Okwonko's desire to prove himself and build a legacy of his own, it only made sense for him to hop in the ring and become the man he hoped his father would be. Okwonko's vigor and brutality earned him immediate respect from his community as he won battle after battle. His status and grit transformed him into a well-respected landowner with vast fields of yams and a few wives to tend to his every need. Unfortunately for Okwonko, his brazenness increased as quickly as his wealth did. His predilection for violence didn't stop inside the ring. Any time he had to interact with anyone that he deemed inferior, whether it was a woman or his own children, he beat them senselessly until they feared him. It's after one of these beatings that Okwonko's eldest son decides to join the missionaries himself. The missionaries grew in size as they recruited from the brutalized men, women, children, and lesser ostracized caste of people known as Osu. Soon, they had a membership that rivaled the village population. In addition to these outcasts, there was an even larger segment of the population that quietly questioned some of the customs, but kept silent for fear of retribution. For instance, one of the customs in the village was to sacrifice all twins to the earth goddess. One mother, who was forced to sacrifice 4 pairs of twins, left the village and joined the church as a means of escape. Finally, membership of the church surpasses that of the village, and it becomes the predominant institution. The old customs and way of life have been replaced by this new Christian God. In the final act, Okwonko kills himself and becomes a martyr for all those left behind. The legacy of Umuofia falls with one of their greatest warriors as the missionaries succeed in spreading the Lord's word. Although the missionaries won't create a more equal society for all the outcasts, women, and children, they at least listen and pretend to have their best interests at heart, as opposed to men like Okwonko who simply deem anyone weaker as inferior. Things Fall Apart demonstrates that a society rife with inequalities renders itself vulnerable to false prophets and colonizers. If we choose to ignore or disregard the wishes and cries of the few, then in the end, we may all suffer.